Hello everybody, Clairaudience here with chapter 12 of Divine Guidance by Doreen Virtue, which is hearing clearly, ways to increase your clairaudience. And if you happen to see my last video, you'll remember that I was pleasantly surprised by clairaudience. I've personally believed, up until this point of making this video, that my strongest clairs are claircognizance and clairsentience. Like I get a feeling or kind of a knowing about something. But after reading through these two chapters, I feel like maybe there's clairaudience potential for me personally that I could just develop more. We'll see how I feel when I get to clairsentience and claircognizance. Clairsentience is coming up next. This particular sentence really got my attention. It said, "You may be naturally oriented toward hearing divine voices, especially if you are sensitive to noises," which I am, musically inclined, pay more attention to the sound of someone's voice than their actual words. Now that I'm reading that again, I'm questioning that. I definitely notice tone in people's voices to the point where I'm surprised when they don't necessarily hear the same thing. And I do pay attention to words as well, but I am very sensitive to emotional tone, which makes me think of clairsentience. I don't know. So those made me think maybe there is some clairaudience potential. And I already mentioned the story in the last video about how I did hear a clearer voice at one point. So I'm excited to see what happens when I try out these exercises. Doreen reminds us that our creator, source, love, energy, however you want to look at it, is constantly speaking to us. The voice is always there, resonating from inside and out. A lot of times we do not hear it because we're afraid. We're afraid of being controlled by God, by source. We're afraid that maybe our life will be worse when we follow the guidance. So part of this process is releasing that fear. Doreen says when she works with clients, she reminds them that the guidance actually leads to increased joy, service to others, compassion, and love. Good stuff, right? Another thing that may be blocking us is feeling like we are not deserving. So that's something else that we may need to release. We can simply take a few deep breaths and ask for angel guidance to help release these fears that keep us from divine guidance. All we need is a sincere effort. We don't need particular words. Sincere desire. We don't need particular words, just that true desire. She has one exercise in this chapter. I just want to see if there's anything else I want to cover here. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to add to it that she talks about at the end. She says another block can be that you don't want to hear the answer. You're looking for guidance because you want affirmation. You know, I do this sometimes and drives Brian crazy. A lot of times spouses drive each other crazy with this, where we ask a question, we kind of have an answer in mind, but we want to see what response the other person's going to have so we can kind of basically check in with our intuition is how I would see it and see what feels right. So now I qualify my questions to Brian. I say, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm looking for your advice, but I may not take it because I more just want to see how hearing it from outside me resonates or connects with that response. Maybe I'm like, yes. Or maybe I'll be like, So it drives him crazy, but we don't want to do that with source, with God, because we'll be blocking off other potential answers. We are closing ourselves off. We have a question, we need to be open to whatever the answer is. And we don't have to take the answer. We have free will, so we don't have to go with whatever the guidance tells us. But again, remember, Doreen says when we do listen, it leads to joy, service, compassion, and love. So that's one other thing I wanted to add in there. Here's an exercise for clearing your chakras. She says we have ear chakras inside our ears. I really need to find a picture of this because I'm not quite seeing it, but she says they are violet red, and you can see them as discs pointing in toward the center of the head at a 30-degree angle. So yeah, I'm sure that you could find some pictures on the internet that will show that a little bit better. We can sometimes harbor fear or anger in these ear chakras from words that we've heard. Here's how you clear them. Take some very deep breaths. Common theme here. Visualize or sense your ear chakras by imagining those two violet red discs just inside your physical ears. See or feel them resting at a 30-degree upward angle, pointing inward. Another deep breath. Envision bright white light cleansing the inside of your ear chakras. You can clean them simultaneously or take turns. And as the white light scrubs your chakras, mentally ask your angels to surround your head. And then be willing to allow them to remove all the painful memories lodged in your ear chakras. You don't need to help the angels. You can actually kind of interfere if you try to help. So just have that desire as their healing power carts away old feelings, thoughts, memories that block you from hearing God's voice. And 5, ask the angels to lift any fears you may have about hearing divine guidance. Maybe you are afraid of being startled by a voice, especially if you're sensitive, like was mentioned at the beginning of this. Fear of being controlled, fear you don't deserve God's time and attention. With another deep breath, see or feel the angels illuminate your ear chakras with love and brilliantly bright light and say thank you. As always, want to thank our angels for their assistance. And you will probably start noticing clairaudient messages increase, is what she says. So I'm already feeling like a slight pain in my left ear. In the School of Metaphysics, we connect physical senses to the thoughts that are related. And I used to have this book, I lent it out, Permanent Healing. I may get another version. I don't think there's one end-all be-all for a physical ailment. I think it varies from person to person what a physical ailment may mean to that person. However, it's nice to have kind of a structure to start with. But I remember I've had it's my left ear usually, a little bit of an ache. And I looked it up and it said, needing to listen to inner guidance. So I'm like, it's usually applicable. Usually I can tie it back to something. Remember that guidance is always positive, uplifting, repetitive, and loving. The last thing I wanted to share before I go is a couple of other suggestions to help increase clairaudience. Mainly music. Having classical background music, soft classical background music can help increase your clairaudience. She says many classical composers actually have had spiritual backgrounds. And paying close attention to physical sounds, subtle background noises, patterns in music can also help you develop this skill. So that's it for today. Next time we will continue with some more exercises for experiencing clairaudience, and then we will move on to clairsentience. Thank you for joining me today. Please like this video if you liked it. Feel free to share. If you want to make sure you catch them all, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you again next time. Much love and many blessings to you all. Bye now.